Okay. Hi, my name is Grant Hoyt. I'll be discussing the Strategic Audit Simulation Project, Assignment 6.3 for Franklin University Healthcare Management Capstone course. Our instructor is Andy Dorr. Next, please. The strategic audit of rehab care is being the largest rehabilitation company in the country with over 18,000 therapists working with patients in over 1,500 locations ranging over the 47 states, with a mission statement to restore and improve the quality of life for those we serve, the patients and residents we treat, the family members with whom we interact, the therapists we employ, and the customers with whom we partner. I was able to interview Jewel Shout, which I didn't have a slide of a picture of hers, which I don't think I was supposed to, but she has over 20 years of clinical experience as a master occupational therapist, and she was promoted within those years for the last 7 years. She was going to be a project manager, which then put up to the last 5 years where she got promoted to the area director of operations, overseeing 7 states and 33 different units. This slide just shows us the corporate governance and how oh. Okay, now I see it. Am I there?
Yep.
Okay. The corporate governance is run and directed by a board the size of 7 to 9 members. Never any more than 9 is what they want to stay with. There's no limit on the terms of the board members, although at the age of 75, a board member must step down without further election. Not more than 2 members can be employed by the organization at the time for the board. Although a former employee can be elected, there is a guideline for the external members. They must have stock ownership. The internal members also have to have stock ownership, but they have a 5-year expectancy to purchase their shares. Next slide. That's skipped. Skipped again. There it is. The management structure. This is how they do it. They have rehab care has all therapists as their vice president, director of operations, regional director of operations, area director of operations, and the program manager. Each one internally promoted. Next slide. The main focus on the corporate culture being that we're all professionals, from physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech pathologists. Their focus is first on patient outcomes, then billing, facility compliance, legal matters, documentation reviews, coding audits. If I didn't explain it before, rehab care actually, our clients are nursing homes. We offer the services in the nursing home, so since there's so many of us, and being the largest in the country, we're always growing with another nursing home. The facility relationships are governed by these professionals. The changing of regulations, as we talk about reimbursement and things like that, is done by another special unit within the company. That's their only thing they do, is they predetermine changes in our government's reimbursement rates, changes in codes, things like that. As we're being told already, we've already got the codes for 2018 that are changing for rehabilitation services. Next slide, please. The external environment, I broke it down into a weighted system from the social and culture, the business, the economy, the competition, technologies, and weighted out like that because there's always a risk. With professionals, we just try really hard to stick to the mission of rehab care to improve the quality of life for those we serve, and the strong will to achieve patient satisfaction with the professional guidance to healing. Repeated through every facility is patient outcome. Patient outcome. How's your patient outcome? But then we have the responding to the changes to the healthcare environment. The corporate group that changes is constantly looking at that because there's always a risk. The external environment, now this is a neat discovery when I had a third chance to actually meet with my interviewer because she's from Kentucky. I met her and she got a phone call, and we had a therapist from another facility actually state that they billed for services and never entered the facility. Immediately, there's a legal thing, and reimbursement has to be repaid and stuff that, like the external environment of every facility, there's always a risk. Next slide, please. As with our strategic factors, as we weighed it out in a SWOT program, I had the measurements before out there. I couldn't get it into the slide. But when we went through it when I went through it to try to figure out what's best for the company to expand or add with a new strategic management, I chose to make a program called Home Health right from our facility. Next slide, please. Following the same mission of the company is to the quality of patients' life and the people we work with. We're actually, the growth will improve our outcomes for our standard client, which is the skilled nursing home, that has to be a 5-star rating. That rating is done by a survey, which our company also surveys every one of our patients. That survey, the 5-star rating, is done by CMS. CMS actually governs and comes into the facilities and interviews, makes phone calls to these elderly patients, and then rates it on their matrix, giving the nursing home their skills. Because we do service as an improvement to this, with the stability of our company, the innovation of technology, we capture the audience or the patients and then score. Next slide, please. To evaluate my strategic plan, I put it into another matrix by going from the census evaluation to improve the census. We have, right now we're 3%. Current performance, goal is to go to 6% in a time. Performance productivity, there's 10 facilities with, and the HHRS, I don't know if it showed on the other side, is Home Health Rehabilitation Services, was in 10. The goal is to go to 50 different nursing homes to have that home health coach straight from that home. Improving the readmittance, because the 5-star rating, if I can go over this, the 5-star rating done by CMS actually takes the biggest hit when a patient is readmitted into the hospital that we've already seen for the same symptoms or same diagnosis. So by improving that, we're not only improving the quality of life for the patients that we serve, but we're also improving the quality of the star rating for our clients. Next slide, please. Oh, I go straight into questions. And my references.
Thanks, Grant. That's a great presentation of your organization. So I'm just going to go back a few slides here for a moment. Actually, I wanted to make a comment. This evaluation and control. I thought this was a great presentation of how you're planning, or how the company is going to plan to take a look at how to control things after they've implemented the changes. So just want to comment on that. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna step back here. So I apologize, my cat's making some noise back here. So when you were looking at the overall external environment in comparison to your company, what would you say your company is doing best right now to help mitigate those additional threats or items outside of the company that are impacting your company?
Relationship building.
Okay.
Relationship building within the facilities, because every management, we get to see the area, the regionals. They actually come into the facility, but the program managers that we work with every day builds that relationship best with the client as they are, which is the administrator of the nursing homes and things like that. So that building of a family, within it's a local community. Each employee, even though we're an external company, out of Kentucky, the organization and employees here in, well, I'm in Michigan, actually live and work here in Michigan and have for quite some time.
Okay, nice answer there. I'll let Dan go ahead with his question.
Grant, that was a good presentation, and I really did like the graphics and the different charts that you included in your presentation. Thank you very much for that. My question is, again, you stated that Kindred Healthcare, which they do have some facilities here in North Carolina as well, mm-hmm. But going into the nursing homes and picking up new clients, with the reimbursements that you get, how is that going to affect Kindred as a whole with the new governmental administration that's in office? Are you seeing cutbacks on that as far as payments? Are clients being referred to you because the insurances are not paying what they normally would?
Clients are coming in. From Medicare, Medicaid. We've seen the cuts. In their Kindred actually sold off their skilled nursing home, a bunch of units. Actually, the area manager that I did interview actually had 47 and down to 33 because of that. And that brings in other competition things, but they felt that them owning the home was more of a conflict because, they own it. They also have the rehab, so they didn't want any government barks on CMS in that way. The overall quality of what Kindred stands for with the hospitals and things all over the country, it helps. It helps to be part of such a big organization. When Rehab Care joined in 1982, they were coming up as one of the largest rehabilitation companies, and then Kindred ended up purchasing them and putting them on the thing, and that just made them stronger.
Thank you very much. One more question, if you don't mind, sir.
Yeah.
Now, as far as patients needing in-home therapy, do you expect a growth in that versus patients who want to not go to a nursing home? Is Kindred going to just specialize in a certain, it's broke down in different areas, but are they going to specialize to incorporate more in-home therapy versus nursing home or hospital therapies?
I think our environment is doing that for us. With home health, I've seen a big cut in orthopedic patients coming into the skilled nursing facilities because they can receive home health and go home to their families. But then there's those that don't have anybody to care for them at home, such as help them get food and some basic ADLs. They would come in and hopefully get better and get back home as quickly as can. But with home health, I see a big emphasis to stay in the homes due to the fundings by our government. It's a heck of a lot cheaper to go home and receive rehabilitation services than it is to stay in a skilled nursing facility and receive them.
Okay, thank you very much.
Uh-huh.
All right, good job.